Give it up for Hallie Manchester, everybody. Want to hear it?
How you guys doing tonight? Good? Sounds great. I'm just thrilled. Charles got my name right. Usually people call me Haley, and I guess that's forgivable if you're reading my name on a piece of paper. But if I introduce myself as Hallie to you, and you repeat it back to me as Haley, you're an asshole. You know, so I actually once had somebody tell me when we were about 12 years old, she asked me, "Why don't you just change your name to Haley since nobody can get it right?" And I said, "Because people need to learn to read, Susan, and I am not going to change my name to accommodate stupidity." So, yeah, I hit somebody out there. All right. So I'm trying to get a job in the entertainment industry right now, and everybody always tells you the entertainment industry is full of rejection. But what they don't tell you is that sometimes rejection shows its face in the form of just completely ignoring you. And so like months went by, and I was applying to everything, and I hadn't even heard so much as a peep, like of rejection of employment. So until this one day, I opened my email, and I got one from a company that I just barely remembered applying to, and it read, "Dear Stephanie." Nope, not even close. At this time, I'd like to tell you guys that my email is my first name dot last name. So, dear Stephanie, we thank you for your interest, but at this time we are not able to offer you a full-time position. Warmest regards, Dana. So I thought I'd give old Dana an email back. So I said, "Hey, sorry about Stephanie, but is there any update on the status of my application?" I never heard from Dana again. So what I realized about being broke is that we will tell ourselves just about anything to, justify how we feel. So instead of calling myself poor, I'd rather call myself bougie on a budget. And I heard the other day that $100 is being called an adult 20, which is preposterous. Because if you're bougie on a budget, you could stretch $100 about 10 days in New York City. And those of us who live here, we know that's a fucking feat, okay? We deserve an award for that shit. So, being bougie on a budget, it's really not that hard. I'll tell you the secret. Basically, you just don't get to go out or have any fun at all. It saves a lot of money. And, to reconcile this within yourself, you can start drinking cheap wine out of mason jars and baking cookies from scratch. Yeah, so basically the goal is to become like a 20-something-year-old grandma. So I don't really fit in too much, or too often, rather, with people my own age. And that's partially because I don't go out a lot. But it's also partially because there's nothing that confuses me more than wearing a see-through shirt. I'm seeing that a lot these days, Like a 13-year-old who I'm like, "Are you 25? And she's like, "No, I'm in 7th grade. I'm like, "Well, you look great, honey. Keep it up." I'm all about flaunting what you've got. I really am. But just because Kendall Jenner freed her nipples at the Cannes Film Fest does not mean that you should wear the same dress to your Uncle Doug's funeral. I think you're going to get some unwanted attention for that, particularly if it's cold. There's nothing like a sudden nipple eruption to wake up the dirty old geezers in the house, am I right? Speaking of women's bodies, society has made women so ashamed of their bodies that we consider doing drugs. And I'm not even talking about diet pills. I'm talking about cocaine. So I actually overheard one time, "Monica's been doing like a lot of cocaine and she looks like really skinny. We should totally do that before Miami." Like, I'm good. Poor Monica. I've never done hard hard drugs or anything, and that's honestly just because I'm a huge loser and like Dare actually worked on me. When I was in the 5th grade, we had to take time out of school, which was sad to me because, again, I'm a loser. And we had to learn this rap. I'm not going to torture you with it. I thought about it, but I decided against it. I'm not going to torture you with it. But basically, whenever I think that cocaine would be part of a healthy diet, I remember the rap. And I also think about how I'd probably hate myself less if I were addicted to crack and not pizza. But the heart wants what it wants. And you know what? I will say one thing, though, about being a woman in 2018. It's a little bit easier than it was in 1970, per se. And that's because I read recently in a 1970s edition of Vogue that there was a crash diet promising to make you 3 pounds lighter in 3 days. And the diet consisted of breakfast, 1 hard-boiled egg, 1 glass of white wine, dry, preferably Chablis, and then black coffee. For lunch, 2 hard-boiled eggs, 2 glasses of white wine, black coffee. And for dinner, a 5-ounce steak, the remainder of the white wine, 1 bottle allowed per day, and black coffee. No fucking wonder women didn't have a seat at the table. We must have smelled like shit. Like, on a diet of eggs, booze, and coffee? Are you kidding? Vogue? You know, I think that it would be a more reasonable diet if you just sucked it up and did the cocaine. All right, you guys have been absolutely great. Thank you so much.
Hallie Manchester, everybody!